Greetings, Captains, and welcome back to another episode of Starfleet Command, Orion Pirates +1. I'm Commodore Tiark of the heavy battlecruiser USS Rommel, as we continue our campaign against the Romulan Star Empire. And last time, diplomatic relationships within the Federation had started to get a little bit shaky, and we had to be called off in order to send an ambassador to a planet that we were currently occupying to stabilize the region, against which a Firehawk cruiser was deployed to assassinate the ambassador before such negotiations could take place, a very dastardly Romulan plan. However, thanks to our superior tactics and abilities, we were able to destroy the Firehawk and continue on with our campaign. So without further ado, let us set out to the northern area of Romulan space. We're going to whittle down their economy a bit before we go right for Romulus, which is here at 1912. Like, this is legitimately Romulus, which is a bit of a problem because it's right on the border. And it's going to be a bit of a tough nut to crack, and I'd like to try and go out around here more often before I start trying to face a homeworld. So, a brief stop at 1911, a starbase that we fought so very hard over, and managed to take and head off to the north for our first patrol of the day. Let's see what it is that we can run into. Romulan vessels sighted at maximum range. Unfortunately, not quite in sensor. Oh, there, it is indeed a heavy cruiser. Who do we got? You are an SUK, a Super Hawk. Or are you a Super Buyer? I think you're a Super Hawk. And we are currently being escorted today by the USS Hope in HDW. She is a heavy war destroyer, so the era of the Federation quad nacelle multi-role destroyer is now in full effect, which will be an interesting era because these are actually pretty good ships. The Federation Heavy War Destroyer is a really nice balanced design, and we actually flew one for a good part of our original Federation campaign. It went on one of our longest patrols, too. It was like 4 or 5 episodes or something like that, and that was back when episodes were like 30 to 40 minutes long. We also have a random freighter over here. It's a PT-1, the Unguise, which I believe is just going to be... PT-1, I think, is 2 phaser 1s and a missile launcher? Or 2 phaser 3s and a missile launcher? So I'm basically going to ignore him. One thing I shouldn't ignore, however, is Wild Weasels and Scatterpecks, because they're very useful to have, just to sort of send our enemies ways. We'll pick up the speed a little bit, but also make sure that we chug in 6 points of power into the electronic countermeasure system, and go fast enough in order to maintain the speed of the ship and charging the weapons. Speaking of the weapons, proximity mode on the photon torpedoes, and we're almost to maximum range. It's only a 33% chance to hit from maximum range, but it's a shot worth taking. After all, we can always turn away and just cause more and more skirmish damage. Although once we hit a range of 30, that goes up to 50%. Although that just means it hits one out of every 10 torpedoes whenever we talk about our guys. So photon torpedoes, engage, maximum range shot, and begin to turn away. He managed to get a hit, so congratulations to him. He's going 25%. Let's pull directly away from him as he begins his long-range sniping. I'm going to send a couple of missiles his way, just to see what he does with it. It's nice to see that the Hope has also deployed her fighter squadron. The Hope is not a name of a heavy war destroyer. I'm sorry, that is the name of a medical ship. Should probably turn away. See what he does with it. I'm assuming he'll launch his torpedoes and now he's going to cloak. Right? You're going to cloak, like, right now. Because that would be the most annoying thing, because my missiles are probably going to die out before they hit. Oh, they didn't. Nice, he mistimed it. So the missiles, I think, roll for a chance to burn out after they're launched, and the target decloaks, because it's not 100%, because there are times when the missiles will hang around for quite some time. And it looks like he just decloaked fast enough to be undercover, but the missiles rolled enough of good hits in order to actually, slam into him. Yep, 2 missile launcher A's and 2 phaser 3s. Basically ignorable. In fact, because our little friend is currently sitting under cloak, there's really no reason not to just blast into him. And as you can see, the Hawks have already decided to try and get that done. So, hi. Bye. Were you hoping to have some help? No. Not this time, friend. So he is currently sitting under cloak. He has no forward shield, which makes him incredibly vulnerable. We're going to pull right up in front of him, because I've got a phaser 1 that I'd like to shove right down the back of his ship. Gonna double mine just to give it a little bit of extra accuracy, unless he turns like that, in which case... Yeah, unfortunately we were only able to get one of those phaser shots in through, only for 3 damage, but we also nicked his shield, which isn't too bad. The Hawks, of course, coming around, blasting away. Unfortunately, fighters are not very accurate at all when it comes to shooting at cloaked vessels, which is something we exploited heavily in our Romulan campaign. We basically just immediately would fire all our weapons and then drop under cover and let the fighters just stream over us because they couldn't hit the broads out of a barn. However, because you have no forward shield, I'm just going to continue to blast away into you, and it's going to be hilarious because, again, no forward shield. How close are you going to let me get? Because if you're going to let me get close enough, I'm going to basically overrun you, or you can decloak right now. Fire missiles right now. And hope for the shock. Oh, we got a good shock right there, 72 damage. He still managed to get a Plasma F torpedo off into us, but our shields can actually take a Plasma F torpedo. It's a lot of fun. Dump a mine right on top of him. Another F-type Plasma torpedo. This is going to cut through our stern shields, which is not great. Leaves us open to his S-type Plasma torpedo, which he has ready to go next. But we are on the opposite end of the ship for him to be able to pull that one off. So we took a little bit of damage. We'll patch that up. 2 points of power down and a phaser 3. And are you going to recloak? If not, I'm going to dump a missile right into you. Give me 4 missiles chasing him right up behind him. I think I want to smash right through this mine. I'm not all that concerned about it. The RIS Impavitus. It's not super important. We're going to slow down so we can crash the mine out. That way we can just deal with this no problem. He did dump a Wild Weasel, which is slightly annoying, but we'll deal as we often do. Phasers or photon torpedoes are set to normal, ready for a good follow-up here on the stern. I'd like to get within a range of 5 just for that additional accuracy. So the Wild Weasel attack shift is gone. Get me within that range of 5. And unfortunately didn't hit the shield that I quite wanted to, but that's okay. Managed to cut through more of them. We'll pull off onto port. Our shield should be able to bounce this without too much trouble. Oh, it was a fake. Not even real. And that finishes him off. So the entire Romulan, I guess, raiding party completely dealt with no trouble at all. So photon torpedoes, yeah, range of 5 to 8 is 50%, but if you get to a range of 4, which is 4.99, 67% accuracy. Not bad. 230 prestige is our reward and a neutral tile. We're going to pop back here because we took a little bit more damage than we originally intended. So patch up the 16 points of damage that was taken there. And we need 20 missiles. So just shove them on the back of the ship. Apparently 20 missiles cost 33 prestige. I'm not sure how the math works on that, but whatevs. An additional 28 just in random spare parts. We're going to push back out here and just continue to sort of curl around the edge of this empire here. I just want to steadily... I want to box them out. I want to make them turned into isolated pockets so that the Empire steadily, crumbles from within. And there is our Enigma vessel, an unknown ship way off in the distance. By way off, I only mean about 38.6, but that's fine. Do you have anything on board that is worth stealing? You do. You've got medical supplies, or the Venus drug, as we learned in one of the pirate missions. We are not escorted by anybody today. It is just us by our lonesome. So we're going to kick up the engine power so we can get there relatively quickly. And wait for something to actually show up on long-range scanners. Photon torpedo set to proximity mode. And somewhere out there, beneath the starry skies, there is indeed a freighter who decided to answer the call, the FTQ Gigas. I'm sorry, Gigas, but you picked the exact wrong place and the exact wrong time. Let's do it. Because it's funny. That is literally the reason why we're doing this, because it's funny. I need to slow down a bit more? Yes, I did. Okay. So this is our maximum speed overload charging photon torpedoes. So we're going to swing in here, quickly steal this, and rush in with everything we've got. Our scatter pack is ready. That gives us one additional, the Wild Weasel that we've also finished, gives us one additional point of power to steal. And give me that. Thank you. So an FTQ, what are you armed with? Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. This is so much overkill, it's not even funny. But I'm going to do it anyway. Shut off the missiles, that way we don't waste anything useful. And we're looking at attack shift of 1, but I think my phasers can do this job on its own. Wow, firing into a ship with an attack shift of 1, there was a helpless freighter with our photon torpedoes on overload, and we managed to hit every single shot. Gunnery, did you hear that your job was on the line? Because you gotta know that you need to do that more consistently. Let's increase the speed. And we're just going to come in here, set the photon torpedoes normal so we get all of that power back. It costs a lot of energy for photon torpedoes to do that. Slow back down the speed of time so we can engage normally once the next mission starts. And wait for the time to pass. How much prestige for stealing the stuff? 90 prestige for the medical supplies, plus 114 for wiping out the ship. Did neutralize the tile. Not bad at all. Let's flick on over here so we're looking at sort of what we want to look at. I think we head north. Ooh, where we have found an enemy starbase. That'll be important to go after. Another patrol operation, because convoy raids are for the birds. We're at 3,000 prestige. Interesting. We're getting close on being able to afford X-type heavy cruisers next time we actually see something. A single light cruiser and a freighter, and it is all us by our lonesome. So this could be a little bit difficult, although I am also anticipating a third vessel somewhere over here, which would make life even more difficult. We're currently squaring off an FSP and an FT-1R. I don't know what the FT-1R is. Not even going to guess. Don't know what an FT-1R does. Photon torpedoes, of course, set to proximity mode. We will begin a maximum range engagement and increase the speed of the vessel, although we do have to slow down because we need a lot of electronic countermeasure. Unfortunately, the enemy is quite good with keeping up with that, with forcing us to spend a lot of energy on something we rather wouldn't. And it's another freighter, which is an SKH. However, this freighter is actually, as you can see, a frigate. Probably carrying around a weapons pallet. So he's the most dangerous, he'll be the next most dangerous, and he'll be the third most dangerous. This ought to be interesting, because we got to stay out of range. Send a probe. Reduce speed by 1, because we have to do that. Costs 1 point of energy, 1 turn for a probe to charge, which is actually really severe. We're looking at a single S-type plasma torpedo and a whole bunch of missiles, or phasers. Photon torpedoes set to proximity mode. Fire in turn. It's time to leave. He cloaked right as we fired, which meant that fire control hit absolutely nothing out of that. First of our wild weasels and scatterpacks is ready, so prep that, prep that. Huh, actually no, I like that strategy. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to circle around this guy, not go after him. We're going to knock out this FT-1R, just because we want to deal with it. Also because I am kind of worried that he's got an anti-missile defense system, and that's going to be kind of important. Speaking of which, missiles. Let's see what he does with them. I don't anticipate the FSP reacting to that, but the SKH certainly shall. Let's get all phasers ready to rock here. Photon torpedoes set to normal one. They're not going to be ready in time, but just in case. Okay, so he's only got a single missile launcher. That's not concerning at all. So let the point defense handle that. Curl right on in, making a good angle. There we go. That's what we wanted. And we're going to come off in this direction. Who are we squaring off against here? You have 2 F-type plasma torpedoes, I want to guess? And he is holding on to quite a few of those. We're going to dump a couple more. That'll make him go wild weasel on that. And we're just going to continue to work around this FSP until we have taken care of his escort. So we should have a scatter pack ready shortly. In fact, I'm going to immediately deploy a scatter pack right there. Alrighty, so he has already fired his phasers. He has a decent number of tractor beams, but this should actually get through him. And he's not cloaking, which is a pretty interesting decision to make. As long as we stay at range, we can probably just shell him down to pieces with missiles only, which is the goal here. So he won't have anything to fend that off with. Fire 2 more. Double check, how many are you carrying? I'm not entirely sure, but I'm also not sure how many of my links are currently taken up with missiles, which is something I'd like to see changed in this game. Tell me how many weapons links I have. And 2 more. Unfortunately, that's not going to work. So we're going to come directly away from him. Alright, just set him to the stern and drive, because this plasma torpedo will burn out. We're going to come over here, shut this off since we don't have any more missiles that we got to worry about. I'm going to just continue to pile the missiles on. We're going to wait until we've got 4 launchers ready to go, just to make sure that we can really spam him out. So waiting the half a turn required for this other missile launcher ready to go. The SBB is just sitting in cloak, or FSP. I'm not sure why he's doing it, but I'm not going to complain too much. Only a little bit. Alright, so that's 4 more missiles heading his way. He's trailing 1. He's just fired most of his phasers our way. I'm trying to get a good angle here to engage him with the photon torpedoes, but he is zoning me out quite well. I'm really not happy about it. Are you coming out of cloak? No, not yet. So he's gotten a decent number of missiles off in there. And that's the problem. That's the problem I was really worried about. He's a range of 4 right now. Oh no, never mind. You went into cloak. Interesting. Wasn't really expecting that one. But I do need to get away from you, because you have a pretty nice weapon that is not charging. The Redemptio apparently has not been charging her weapons. That is a pretty bad mistake, actually. Let's come around in here. I'm ready with the phasers to go. I'd like to cause some real damage here. Actually, it's really tempting to go for a high energy turn just to nail him with everything I've got. I think we're going to do that. Wait for us to get around this corner. See if we can't just pull into here. Because if I can get that corner, then I can just absolutely gut him. Photon torpedoes are set to normal, so they will be able to hit everything we've got at him. And unfortunately, I don't want to shoot into a shield if he's cloaked. It's just not a good idea. Yeah, we're not going to do the high energy turn. We're just going to pull around to his stern with phasers. Cause a little bit of damage there. Only 1 damage. Slow down a little bit so we can pull the right angle here. Oh, it's so tempting. Drop that right there. Oh, the angle is just not there. How badly off did we make it? Oh, how can that not be hitting? That's annoying. Can key it off on myself, just to sort of... Oh, because he's doing speed of 4. Okay, that makes sense. All of them select. Get ready for a little bit of splashback damage, folks. And not quite. Okay, so phasers. Just keep putting phaser fire in there, then. He's coming out of cloak. I need you. And I think we should be fine. More speed, please. Hi, I've come to give you a present. We're too close for missiles, so we're going to have to pull just a little bit farther away just to get that dealt with. And he is still skulking around in cloak. Like a fool, I believe, but Cannot fire weapons without a lock-on, because we were looking at the wrong target. 4 missiles right on into him. More of his defenses are offline as we're coming around. We've got a 360-degree mount that can shoot. Just steadily whittling away at everything he can do. The Flama Penna, just not going to be able to defend himself much longer. Phasers should be able to wipe this out. And a cascade failure takes him down. So it is just us versus this light cruiser now. So now the real fight begins. And I'm not quite sure what the heck he's doing under cloak. It just doesn't make a whole heck of a lot of sense for what he's doing anymore. Because I would have expected by now he would have come out of cloak to actually engage us, but he's just not. He's sitting there, he's hiding, and it doesn't seem to be making a whole heck of a lot of sense to me. Put that right there. Whoa! Apparently the entire universe went crazy when we did that. I'm not in a position to really do much to him except just fire light phasers into him. He's not charging that Plasma S, and if as long as he's not charging that Plasma S, he's never going to decloak. Like, the AI will not let him. Managed to get a hit with a photon torpedo, which is not bad. But I guess we're just going to sit here at 15 with him and just steadily shell him down to pieces, because if he's not going to decloak, then there's nothing we can really do. It's just going to be sitting here the whole time and firing into him, and eventually we'll whittle him down, and then he'll die. Just wait for the phasers to do their job as we work him bit by bit. So yeah, we have a bit of an AI glitch here. The ship does not quite know how to do what it wants to do. Coming out wide around, as we'll come back into him. Photon torpedoes. Hey, still managed to hit one, even in a cloak target. But yeah, this is what we live for now, apparently. Bounce that. Phasers. Are you just going to make me ram through every single one of your mines? Because I'll do it. Don't think that I won't. Because I absolutely can. Our shields are essentially infinite. And we regenerate faster than everybody else. You really going to do this? Because I will beat you. I mean, you're going to beat me in this turn, yeah, but eventually I'm just going to work you down. Piece by piece. In fact, slow down. Let him come out in front of me. Slow down even more. Let him come out in front of me. There we go. He's passed in front. Photon torpedoes. Managed to get a good couple of hits in there. Working down his stern shield so he just doesn't have them anymore. Come on. Come out of cloak. Just surrender. Surrender to the victory that is inevitably mine. Come around. Slowly but surely. I can get any photon torpedo shots in here at all. Nope. Not a single one. They're gunnery managing to get back to its trademark effectiveness. As we steadily work his shields down. More speed. More speed. Just keep shooting. Just keep shooting. Never stop. And eventually he will die. There goes another shield. Oh, photon torpedoes. Maybe we managed to get 1 out of 4. More blasts through a down shield. He's down to 13.2 points of power. Or speed. And dropping even further. So we're steadily working him down. But he's also now charging the Plasma S torpedo. So he's finally decided that it might be a good idea to try and fight. Got another hit in with a photon torpedo. Another hit in with that. Are you going to come out of cloak yet? Because the moment you do, I have a couple of missiles that I want to send your way. Nope, doesn't look like it. Keep up the speed. Pull up next to him. You're actually at a range where I can probably start using proximity photon torpedoes relatively effectively. 4 more photon torpedoes, not doing anything. We're whittling him down. It's just that armor. Like, eventually I will cut through the armor, and then we'll just start causing massive amounts of damage. But until that happens, we're stuck here, just endlessly going in circles around a cloaked target who refuses to come out of cloak. I could start dropping transporter mines on him, but I don't want to waste the equipment because I want to stay out here for a little bit longer than usual. There we go. Starting to nail him with some photon torpedo fire. Staying right on top of him. And yeah, he's not charging that S-type plasma torpedo at all. More phasers into him. He's down to a speed of 11. Eventually, we will cause enough damage to knock him out of cloak. That is always the big thing that will eventually happen. He just will not be able to maintain enough energy to stay within cloak. But until that happens, well, we have time. Select, and select. That way I'm not looking at this. More photon torpedo fire just cannot connect. It's difficult to hit cloak targets, yeah, but still. There we go. A little bit more phaser fire. I'd like to start seeing systems just fall off your ship at any point. That would be very nice. He still has mines, apparently. And he managed to hurt himself with his own mine, because he cut back into us too sharply. Now he's losing systems. Photon torpedoes, 4 of them, couldn't hit any of them. Again, not too surprised, considering he is cloaked, but still. And he's coming out of cloak. Interesting. Unfortunately, he managed to come out of cloak and dump his... He came out of cloak and dumped his SI plasma torpedo right in our face, right before it actually fully degenerated, apparently. Like, he's dead. He's done for. There's a reason why I'm not slowing down the speed of time to actually fight him, because he's lost. It's just a matter of time. Pull slightly away, and give me some missiles. Pull away enough for the missiles. Increase the speed of time. Or not the speed of time, the speed of the ship. Just so we pull far enough away for the missiles. Alright, there we go. Jeez. Well, that's 12 minutes of my life that we are not getting back, thanks to a very annoying and slightly bugged freight ship. So 354 prestige, so at least they rewarded us quite nicely for it, but I think we're going to have to go home after that. I mean, we did take more damage than we wanted. But that's definitely going to wrap up today's episode. Managing to whittle away sort of at this upper corner. We'll probably try and cut entirely through here before we start really putting pressure on 21-9. But I've been Derek. If you like what you've been seeing, hit that like button and subscribe. If you want to receive a notification every time I post one of these videos, press that little bell icon, leave a comment, and I will see you all in the next episode.